Bill, Landscape of the Soul by Nathalie Troveroy. First, we will discuss about the author. The author Nathalie Troveroy is an art historian who came in the limelight because of her translated work City of Digens, a book by William Deroulem. She is the wife of Belgian ambassador to India. She has traveled various cities of the world with her husband. She holds a master's degree in the history of art and archaeology from the University of Belgium. She plans to write her next book on the old Delhi architecture like Jama Masjid and Chandni Chowk. Now, in this chapter, if we see, the Tang Emperor Xuanzong commissioned a landscape by Wu Deozi to decorate a palace wall. There was an emperor or the king who had asked the well-known Chinese painter Wu Deozi to draw the paintings on the outside walls of the palace. Wu Deozi, also known as Deoxun, was a Chinese artist of the Tang dynasty. Only some of his work survive. The image of stepping into a painting is a symbolic representation of an inner event, the withdrawal of oneself from the world into a kind of a secular aesthetic paradise. Aesthetic means pure, holy paradise. Landscape is an expanse of scenery that can be seen in a single view. The landscape painting, also known as landscape art, is the depiction of the landscape in art, natural scenery such as mountains, valleys, trees, rivers, and forest, especially where the main subject is a wide view, with its elements arranged into a coherent comparison or a composition. Sky is almost included in the view, and weather is known as an element of the composition. 8th century painter Wu Deozi was asked by the Tang Emperor Xuanzong to paint a landscape to decorate a palace wall. The master hid his work behind a screen. Only the emperor could see it. The emperor admired the wonderful scene. He discovered forests, high mountains, waterfalls, clouds floating in the enormous sky, men on hilly paths, and birds in flight. Then the painter asked the king respectfully to look in a cave at the foot of the mountain. He said a spirit lived there. The painter clapped his hands. The entrance to the cave opened. The painter remarked that the cave was very splendid or very vast from inside. He offered to show the way to His Majesty. The painter entered the cave, but the entrance closed behind him. Then the painter asked the king respectfully to look in a cave at the foot of the mountain. Okay, so the king observed that the painter had asked to open the door by clapping his hands like Khulja Sim Sim kind, and he entered inside and he never turned back again into the life of humans, and he was vanished. The emperor was astonished. Before he could move or speak a word, the painting had vanished from the wall. Not a sign of Wu Deozi's brush was even left. The artist was never seen again. This was his last painting. Take another famous story from China about a painter. He would not draw the eye of a dragon he had painted. He feared that if he painted out the dragon would fly out of the painting. Such stories played an important part in China's traditional education. The book of Confucius and Zhuangzi are full of them. In 15th century Antwerp, a skilled blacksmith named Quentin Metzi, he fell in love with a painter's daughter. The father of a girl would not accept the son-in-law in such a profession. Now it mattered the question of a status. One day, Quentin went into a painter's studio secretly. He painted a fly on the master's latest painting. It was painted with delicate realism, meaning we will see later. The painter took it for the real one. He tried to hit it away. So the fly painting, it appeared so real that that everyone tried to hit it hard and to shook it away, but it did not fly. It was just a painting. Then he realized the matter. He took Quentin as an apprentice. Then Quentin married his beloved. He went on to become one of the most famous painters of his age. The above stories of China and Flanders illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve. In Europe, the aim is a perfect Hellenistic likeness. The Chinese emperor gets a painting painted. He appreciates its outer appearance. The artist reveals to him the true meaning of his work. So Flanders is the Dutch-speaking northern portion of Belgium and one of the communities, region and language areas of Belgium. There are several overlapping definitions including one related to culture, language, politics and history, and sometimes it involves neighboring countries. Delicate realism, it refers to the alluring quality of the art or the appealing quality of the art which makes it seems real. It is an interest in or concern for the actual or the real as opposed to abstract. Alluristic likeness, it refers to an adjective of a technique of using pictorial methods in order to deceive the eye, or it cheats the viewer of the eye. The reference is to an illusion created by a semblance of something. This is the Western landscape painting and Chinese landscape painting. Now, what is the difference between Chinese landscape and Western landscape painting? A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view. The Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. His landscape is not real one, and you can enter it from any point and then travel in it. The artist creates a path for your eyes to travel up and down, then back again in a leisurely moment. The Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes. He wants you to enter his mind. The landscape is an inner one, a spiritual and conceptual space. And what do you mean by conceptual space? It refers to relation with the abstract than the factual representation. This is the incalculable dimension of the understanding of the concepts. The landscape is an inner one, a spiritual or a conceptual space. What about the European landscape painting? It is a delicate realism, a perfect illusionistic likeness, figurative painting. The European painting wants you to borrow his eyes and look at a particular landscape exactly as he saw it from a specific angle. Horizontal scrolls. When someone tells you to look at a painting, you will think of an image on the wall. But in Chinese, the traditional scroll painting presents a painting in a different way. The image is painting on a roll of a paper or a silk and unrolled for viewing. There are two types of scroll paintings, hand scrolls and the hangings or the landscape rolls. Neither stays on the wall all the time. The scrolls are lightweight and mobile and are meant to be enjoyed for a while and then put away to be brought back and viewed on special. Each scroll is mounted on a wooden roller with a protective and silk wrapper around the outside and stored in a specific wooden box. When you want to view one, you unroll it by hand while it's flat on the table. The image, which only often involves a scene or a story, unfolds before you. Think of it as an illustrated book that tells a story as the pages are turned. Unlike hand scrolls, hangings or landscape scrolls tend to be vertical. They are unrolled, can be hung on a wall and viewed all at one time. But they are still lightweight, portable and on the same silk or paper as hand scrolls. Now the concept of sanshui. This concept is expressed as sanshui, literally the mountain water, which is used together to represent the word landscape. More than two elements of an image, it represents two complementary poles, that is Yan and Ying mentioned, reflecting the Taoist view of the universe. Now what is Yan? It is a mountain part reaching vertically towards the heaven, stable, warm and dry in the sun, and Yin is the water part, horizontal, resting on the earth. It's a fluid, moist and cool. Some of the common associations with the Yan and Yin respectively are Yang, if you consider it as a male and female, light and dark, active and passive, motion and stillness. Yin and Yang, its symbols represents the philosophy of balance, where the two opposites coexist in harmony and are able to transmute into each other. In Yin Yang symbol, there is a dot of Yin in Yang and a dot of Yang in Yin. This symbolizes the interconnectedness of the opposite forces. Therefore, the interdependent principles of Yin and Yang are actually dependent on one another for each other's distinguishable existence. In a landscape painting, empty space, which is between the Yin and Yang, and often indicates clouds or mist. In Chinese landscape paintings, painters always embed their personal feelings and emotions into this image, rather than just depict the details and exact appearance of the object. As a result, the viewers can see a lot of white spaces and broad strokes on the Chinese landscapes. Now, this space between the yin and yang, where the interaction is taking place, is called as a void. It is a suspension of the breath. What is often overlooked is an essential third element, the middle void, where the interaction takes place. This can be compared with the yogic practice of pranayama. Breathe in, retain, breathe out. The suspension of breath is the void where meditation occurs. Francois Chang, born on 30th August 1929, is a Chinese-born French academician, writer, poet and calligrapher. He is the author of essays, novels, collections of poetry and books on art written in French language. He has created a wonderful expression, the eye of the landscape. Man is in the middle of the nature and exchanges with her. Man is the center of life. The entire creation plan is incomplete without him. Man plays the key role in linking heaven and earth. He is the channel of communication between the two worlds. As human body is incomplete without the eye, so the entire creation is incomplete without the man. Hence, he is the eye of the landscape. Now, getting inside outsider art is an art by self-taught or naive art maker. That means who is not a trained artist. Typically, those labeled as an outsider artist have little or no contact with the mainstream art world or art institutions. In many cases, their work is discovered only after their death. So these outsider art people, they are not the trained one. Okay, they do not go any institutions to learn. Only after that, their images are being discovered, their work are being identified. Art brut, literally translated from French, means raw art. Raw in that it has not been through the cooking processes. The world of art schools, galleries and museums. Now, Nekchand Saini was a self-taught Indian artist known for the building the Rock Garden of Chandigarh, an 18-acre sculpture garden in the city of Chandigarh. The Rock Garden of Chandigarh is a sculpture garden in Chandigarh, that is in India. It is also known as Nekchand's Rock Garden after its founder Nekchand Saini, a government official who started the garden secretly in his spare time in 1957. Today it is spread over an area of 40 acres. It is completely built of industrial and home waste and discarded items. The nature of the Nekchand's contribution to art: all the stones have a soul, they are alive. The stones are like God and goddesses, there is a life in them. Anything and everything from tin to a sink to a broken down car could be a material for the work of art. That means even a scrap thing, it can be utilized for creating an art. You need to just identify and recognize them. Materials used in the construction of the rock garden, they range from concrete and steel drums to light switches, broken bathroom sink, terracotta scrap and bicycle frames. Highlights: rings include a legend of dancing girls made from broken glass bangles and a graceful arcade of towering arches with dangling rope swings. So this is all about the topic landscape of the soul. Go through this chapter, go through the difficult words and its meaning, and rewind the video for a better explanation. Thank you.